So you might be asking yourself a question, what does it take to be a great lawn care salesperson? Well, it might be a loaded conversation with a lot of answers, but there are some answers surrounding that. My name's Chad, and I'm with a company called Landscape Leadership. We work with dozens of lawn care and landscaping companies all across the country that are trying to generate leads and then also close as many of those leads as possible. So I thought today what I would do is interview one of our clients to give you some tips. If you're setting up an inbound sales organization, how do you put the right people in those positions to make it most successful? If you haven't had a chance to listen to our prior podcast, the link is in the description below. I encourage you to go back and listen to that to hear some of Adam's thoughts on what it takes to structure a great inbound lawn care sales organization. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Adam Zellner, who is the VP of Sales at Oasis Turf Tree, which is a large lawn care company in Cincinnati, Dayton, and Northern Kentucky. So large that they service over 11,000 clients and have really aggressively grown in just a very short time in the last few years. I've been really lucky to work with them hand in hand on a lot of their marketing initiatives. But Adam and I get caught up in these conversations from time to time about sales. And Adam has a lot of great things to add. And that's when I think I already know a lot about sales from being in the industry for 20 years. So without any further ado, I'd like you to introduce you to Adam. And Adam, thanks so much for coming on today and swapping some information and giving our viewers some tips.
Yeah, Chad, thanks for having me. I'm also pretty excited to say that we are now encroaching on 13,000 customers. So
Wow.
we, after this spring, it has been booming, and we just continue to climb and continue to grow at a rate that we couldn't expect. It's incredible.
That's awesome. Yeah, it seems like I blink and a couple months go by and all of a sudden you have a couple thousand more. So I need to ask you that question more often about where you're at.
Yeah.
They do a lot of great things offline. We help them with the online piece of most of what we do with them. But so that number just keeps growing and growing. So Adam, I want to talk a lot today about recruiting salespeople. We've had some really frank, fun conversations, sharing war stories of the past about good and bad salespeople, and as it relates to lawn care. And I think one of the things I think that I've been guilty of, and I think a lot of people are, is thinking when you want to fill a seat in a sales room, to have a guy on the phone selling lawn care or even out in the field, the first thing you think of is this person has to know lawns. They have to, be from the lawn care industry. And I know that's not always the case. So what prior experience, like what industries do you feel are really good fits for what you guys do?
Um, so personally, I have a background prior to the lawn care industry in restaurants. I love finding restaurant people that are looking to get out of their career um, in hospitality. On the restaurant side of things, I view sales very much as hospitality. So somebody for me that's successfully been serving tables or bartending is selling themselves. Their attitude and their motivation is what has continued to pay their bills for years. And when you have that hunger and that drive, but you're just hoping to not be stuck in the restaurant industry for your entire life, which is a lot of people are kind of looking for that opportunity. They might not have experience on the phones or sales experience as it were, but uh, to me, those people are very easy to relate to, and they normally have that hunger and motivation. The other big piece of things is people that have worked in call center type environments know what it takes to spend an entire day on the phone grinding it out, because it can be a grind sometimes. So logistics is huge. Here in Cincinnati, we're a major hub for logistics. So we have a lot of people with logistics experience. And then anyone that's been in kind of like the cable, uh, warranty, call centers, all those places that will just drive you absolutely nuts. Um, those people know what it takes to get a no and then hang up the phone and continue to push the next opportunity they have. And that goes a long way when it comes to finding a good fit on the sales team.
Yeah, I think one of the things that just has been reinforced and stood out through some of our conversations is the fact that your job as a lawn care salesperson is to really just help your prospective client. It's not to sell them and convince them and compel them, although there is a degree of that. You have to get a sale, but your team, you train them. You know, we talk about training like industries. I want to talk about like how do you train them on that technical part or how to do their job well. But you really, the one big message that I always hear you guys talking about when we write a blog article, when you have one of your teammates on those calls, those interview calls, when we talk about why your customers buy from you, one thing that always comes out to me is that our job is really to make the hero, that customer, feel confident about their choice. Along with that, you know, they have to know certain things. So you take someone out of a restaurant industry or hospitality or logistics, and they really don't know much about lawn care. It could be very, very intimidating. And I
Yeah.
think you guys have a lock on how you train these people, both from the technical, you know, the hard skills that they have to know about your programs and services and problems with lawns, but then also on those soft sales skills, like how to really relate to people. So tell me a little bit, and our viewers, how do you train your salespeople? How do you get them to the place where they're really confident and successful?
Yeah, training is everything. I train every single person the exact same way. If you have agronomic experience and training in the past, I will treat you the same way as somebody who has never stepped foot on a lawn. You could have phone sales experience for decades and then come on, and I'm going to treat you the same exact way as I would a guy who just quit bartending to come do phone sales. You will learn our sales process and the way that we do things. And it's not to say that we're so much better than everyone else. There's obviously much better uh, processes, I'm sure, and techniques than what we train on and what we do. But um, ours is a combination of everything. It's not just like you mentioned. It's not just sales. It's the customer experience. It's making a connection with them, and it's making sure that they don't just feel like they're being sold. That at the end of the day, they feel like we're partnering with them to continue to give them the best experience. We will give customers recommendations on things we don't do all the time. And I've talked with people that are not into giving that recommendation of try calling this company for this. We just want to make sure our customers are getting the best service and they're getting the best recommendations. And when a salesperson, whether they're experienced or not, is trained that way, it gives them the confidence that as a company we're doing the right thing. And in sales, that's all it is confidence. You have to have the confidence that what you're selling isn't a ripoff, that customers see value in it. And when you have that confidence as a salesperson, you can push harder and you will sell more than you would normally sell.
Yeah. So there's a lot of traits: pushing hard, staying at it, wanting to help people. What are some traits that you look for? We could talk about some of the good things you look for in people, but then let's also talk about some red flags, some things that when you interview people, you're like, yeah, they're just not going to be a good fit for our culture, and they're not going to be able to help our clients. They're not going to be able to sell. What are some of those
Sure.
traits?
So let's start with the negative traits first. And I guess I should start by saying I I'm not a batting 1,000 when it comes to recruiting by any means. I mean, I will follow a process, and somebody can just be a great interviewer and come in, and you feel like you've got the next best star, and they're a huge dud. So by no means am I claiming excellence when it comes to this, but I've just got a good process of just kind of looking for what works and what doesn't. What I found doesn't work the most is probably the resumes that have all the crazy stats on it. Things like my closing percentage. I closed 92% at this company for this long. I sold $8 million at this company for this long. I was the top salesman for however. If you were making all this money, if you were so good at sales with that company, you probably would still be there. You are probably making a great amount of money and for you to be searching for somewhere different, there's a red flag there, and it's telling me something. Very rarely is anyone that wants to boast stats um, somebody that's willing to be trained. Most of the time, those people come in thinking they know everything. They can't be trained. They at the end of the day will go home and hang their hat on numbers, um, not connections. And more here, I could have a guy that sells 75% of his goal in a year, but if he's a good person, makes connections with our customers and fits culturally in our company, that's who I want on my team. Not a guy who sells 115% of his goal, has friction with everyone in the company, and just walks around with his chest puffed up like he's the King Kong of sales. It's just not. It's not what we look for, and it's not what fits in our culture.
Yeah. I think salespeople that are going to be successful are all driven, to achieve something, but those personality traits are great because that just means it's someone that's going to support the operations and the administration at your company as well, and just really have a more healthy organization. How do you keep these people engaged though? I mean, if you have a quota and goals that you're trying to attain to. I mean, not everybody always hits those goals. Sometimes,
Right.
you have some people, they kill it and they surprise you, and some people that just struggle. I know that you come alongside and you've developed some people. And then just as a group, we talked in our podcast before a little bit about motivation, and about having a good, fun culture. But what are the things that you're doing as a person that's managing a group of people selling to help them be their personal best, but also their collective best?
Yeah, I think it goes with just overall motivation and just kind of keeping people fired up about what they do. I won't end a meeting until I have everybody engaging with me. I will make them sit in silence and agony until they start to engage. Because if they're not engaging with me, someone they're already comfortable with, they're not going to engage with a potential customer on the phone the way that I would expect them to.
Good point.
And then through the day, it's just constant um, constant engagement with the team, asking how they're doing, making sure they know where everyone else is compared to them. Because like competition, I know you're thinking like, well, I thought you didn't like cocky salespeople. Well, I don't until they've proven themselves on our team and they're a fit. And after that, it's game on. I want these guys talking trash to each other in a fun and competitive way. And they keep each other motivated, and it's really cool to see. There's certainly the people that come on, and before they've ever proven that they can make a sale, before they've ever proven that they understand what we do as a company, they want to talk trash to everyone. They're like, "Oh, you'll never be as good as me," and it's like, you haven't sold anything yet. Just sit down and wait, and it'll come. But once you're on our team, once you've proven yourself, I love competitiveness. I love trash talk. Um, Bonuses are structured around that. And when you're in line for a bonus and there's somebody that's creeping up behind you at the end of the night, it gets pretty heated and it's fun. It keeps guys pushing, and it goes a long way. So with that also comes a lot of respect for each other on the team. You very much respect a guy who at lunch had $1,000 on the board and he finishes the day with 3,500 to take a bonus. That's a guy that was grinding it out and pushing it, and that gains a lot of respect from the team. So when we have that type of culture, it's a group of guys that wants each other to push and be better. So our meetings a lot of times are very constructive. It's here's what I've been doing on the phone. Here's what's working. Here's what's not. I've been struggling a little bit with this. What are you guys doing? And we just have a pretty good collaborative meeting on what we can do to improve. And that mixed with kind of the fun banter and playfulness, and then my antics and shenanigans through the day. It's a melting pot of energy and just focus and determination to continue to win.
Yeah.
And that's all it is.
Yeah, and I said this after I had a chance to visit out there. I've always admired your organization, the way that you guys, just from a holistic sense, from your whole company, just you guys really do have something special going there. I don't say that just about any company. If I had to do lawn care sales, I would probably want to do it at Oasis Turf and Tree if I wanted to live in Cincinnati. But I think you guys
Well,
really
that's
had
if I would. That's if I would hire you, Chad.
I don't know. I'm a little cocky. I'm a little cocky, so I might not pass the
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Well, Adam, I really appreciate you taking some time to give me and our viewers some tips on how to hire the right people for these organizations. Like I said before, if you haven't had a chance to go back and listen to that podcast featuring Adam and some of the things they're doing at Oasis Turf and Tree, I would encourage you to do that. Also, if you like videos like these and you'd like more tips like this and see some more expert interviews like this in the future, I encourage you to subscribe on YouTube so that you get the updates when those new videos get released. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope you're really thinking of some great ways you can structure a great inbound sales organization and also put the right people in the right positions so they can be successful and so your company can be successful as well. Thanks a lot. Hope you're having a really great day.